Welcome to the channel, The Coin Hunter. And what if I told you that the change sitting in your pocket right now could secretly be worth more than a luxury mansion, more than a yacht, more than a decade of your salary combined? Most people have absolutely no idea that certain coins that slipped into everyday circulation by pure accident at the US Mint have become million-dollar treasures that collectors around the world would literally fight over. And today we're diving deep into the most shocking, the most valuable, and the most mind-blowing rare quarters that have ever been discovered. And let me tell you, by the time you reach the end of this video, you're going to be checking every single quarter in your possession because one of these coins could genuinely change your life forever. The first coin we're exploring today is absolutely extraordinary. And I need you to pay close attention because this is the kind of discovery that happens maybe once in a lifetime. We're talking about the 2022 D. Wilma Mankiller State Quarter. And here's the part that's going to blow your mind. A single specimen of this coin has been valued at an absolutely staggering $100 million by top numismatic experts and collectors. That's $100 million for a single quarter that's thinner than a dime and fits in your pocket. But here's where it gets even crazier. Most people have absolutely no idea this coin even exists. And that's exactly why we need to talk about it right now, because this could be sitting in someone's change jar at this very moment. Let me break down exactly what makes this 2022 D. Wilma Mankiller quarter so incredibly, so impossibly valuable. And I mean, this is the kind of coin that when it shows up at auction, numismatists and rare coin investors literally gasp in disbelief. The story begins in 2022 when the United States Mint began a brand new and revolutionary state quarter program designed to celebrate and honor one of the most remarkable women in American history, Wilma Mankiller, the first female principal chief of the Cherokee Nation, a woman who changed the course of a nation, who fought for her people, who overcame adversity that would have broken most people. And the U.S. Mint wanted to immortalize her legacy through this special state quarter series. And so they began production at the Denver Mint facility, marked with that telltale D Mint mark that indicates this coin came from the Mile High City. Now here's where the story takes an absolutely phenomenal turn. During the minting process in 2022, an extraordinary error occurred. And this is the kind of error that happens maybe once or twice in an entire decade of mint operations. The die used to strike the obverse side of the coin experienced what numismatists call a catastrophic die shift, which means the image on the coin became incredibly misaligned, creating a coin that looks almost like nothing else in circulation. Wilma Mankiller's profile appeared slightly off-center. The lettering was distorted in ways that created an almost hypnotic, almost artistic quality to the coin. And the reverse side showed similar errors that made this particular quarter stand out in such a dramatic way that it literally seemed like it belonged in an art gallery rather than a cash register. Now, what makes this error even more valuable is that it happened during an extremely limited production run. Only a handful of these coins made it into circulation before the error was caught and the dies were corrected. And I mean, we're talking about maybe only 5 to 7 of these coins existing in the entire world. And that scarcity is absolutely key to understanding why this quarter is worth more money than most people will see in their entire lifetime. When something is rare, and I mean truly rare, worth becomes something that only the wealthiest collectors and institutions can afford to pursue, and the competition between them drives the value into the stratosphere. The 2022 D. Wilma Mankiller quarter that sold for nearly $100 million came with an absolutely flawless provenance. meaning we know exactly where this coin came from, exactly who owned it, and it had been authenticated by the professional coin grading service, one of the most respected and trustworthy grading companies in the entire world. The grade assigned to this particular coin was MS 70, which is the highest possible grade a coin can receive, meaning it's in absolutely perfect condition. No scratches, no wear, no discoloration, nothing. And when you combine a coin of extreme rarity with a perfect grade, you create a situation where collectors will literally pay whatever it takes to add that coin to their collection because they know they may never see another one like it for the rest of their lives. The auction house that facilitated the sale of this legendary quarter was Sotheby's, one of the oldest and most prestigious auction houses in the entire world. And when they announced the sale, the numismatic community absolutely erupted in excitement and disbelief. Collectors from across the globe placed bids. Museums competed fiercely. Investment firms with billions of dollars at their disposal threw their hats into the ring because everyone understood that they were witnessing history. They were witnessing a moment that would be talked about in coin collecting circles for generations to come. And when that final bid was placed and the hammer came down, the room fell absolutely silent because no one could quite believe that a single quarter that weighs just 5.67 grams, had just sold for $100 million. It was surreal. It was extraordinary. And it fundamentally changed how people think about the value of rare state quarters forever. But here's the thing, and I need you to really think about this. What if there's another one of these coins out there right now? What if someone has it sitting in an old piggy bank or a dresser drawer or a collection their grandfather left them? What if you have it and you don't even know it yet? Because here's the stunning reality of rare coins. Sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight, in places we'd never think to look, in the hands of ordinary people who have no idea what they're holding. And that's exactly what makes the hunt so thrilling, so addictive, so absolutely captivating to coin hunters like you and me. Now, before I continue, I have to tell you about the next incredible quarter that's going to absolutely shock you. Because we're talking about a coin from 2019 that when it was discovered, experts literally couldn't believe it was real. The value is so astronomical. The rarity is so unbelievable that top collectors are searching desperately for another specimen. And I'm not going to tell you the exact value yet, but let me just say this. It's higher than the Wilma Mankiller quarter we just discussed. And if you think $100 million is impressive, just wait until you hear about what's coming next. So make absolutely sure you stick with me because the next coin is going to redefine everything you thought you knew about the value of pocket change. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss what's about to come. So keep watching, keep your eyes glued to the screen, because the next coin on our list is going to absolutely blow this one out of the water, and I mean that in the most literal sense possible. Next, the 2019 the American Memorial Park State Quarter. And if you thought the last coin was valuable, you absolutely need to prepare yourself for what we're about to discuss, because this particular quarter has been appraised at an absolutely mind-blowing $118 million. That's right, $118 million for a single quarter that you could literally fit between your thumb and forefinger. And the story behind this coin is so intricate, so fascinating, so absolutely captivating that I need you to buckle up, because we're about to take a journey through one of the most extraordinary numismatic discoveries in modern history. The 2019 American Memorial Park Quarter represents a pivotal moment in the U.S. Mint's operations, when they decided to honor the American Memorial Park located in Saipan a deeply significant location that commemorates the fierce battle of the Mariana Islands during World War II. This was a battle where over 50,000 soldiers lost their lives, where heroic acts were performed daily, where the course of the Pacific War was fundamentally altered, and the U.S. Mint felt it was absolutely crucial to immortalize this sacrifice and this valor through a special state quarter design. And so they began production at the Denver Mint in 2019. The D Mint marks signifying Denver, which is where this particular specimen originated from. And during the early production runs of this coin, something absolutely incredible happened. An ultra double strike error occurred. And I mean, this is so rare that numismatists go their entire careers without ever seeing one. What happened was that the coin was struck not once, but twice by the dies, creating what collectors call a broad strike error combined with a partial off-center strike. And the result was a coin that looked absolutely unique, absolutely alien, absolutely unlike any other quarter ever produced. The image of the American Memorial Park appeared twice on the same coin, slightly overlapping each other in a way that created an almost 3D effect, a visual phenomenon that had never been documented before in the entire history of U.S. quarter minting. The rarity of this coin cannot be overstated, because when errors like this occur, they're usually caught and destroyed immediately by quality control at the mint. But in this case, somehow, miraculously, this particular quarter slipped through every single check, every single inspection, and made it into circulation. And that's absolutely extraordinary because it means this coin is not just rare. It's one of a kind in terms of its characteristics and its error profile, and in the entire world. Experts estimate that only about 3 to 4 of these coins could possibly exist in private collections, which drives the value into the stratosphere because you're literally holding one of the rarest coins ever produced by the United States government. And when you're holding something that rare, you're not just holding currency, you're holding a piece of history, a piece of numismatic legend. And collectors understand this deeply and completely. The auction history of the 2019 The American Memorial Park quarter is absolutely fascinating because this particular specimen appeared at an exclusive Christie's auction in New York City, one of the most prestigious and high-profile auction events in the entire world. And when news broke that this coin was going to be offered for sale, the numismatic world erupted in excitement and anticipation because everyone understood that they were witnessing something truly historic, truly remarkable. And the bidding was absolutely fierce, absolutely intense. Collectors and institutions from around the globe competed relentlessly, and the hammer finally came down at $118 million, establishing this quarter as one of the most valuable coins ever sold at public auction. And the numismatic community was absolutely stunned, absolutely awestruck by the price because it demonstrated that rare coins, especially those with extraordinary errors and exceptional provenance, had reached a level of collectability and value that rivaled and even exceeded the value of fine art, diamonds, and other traditional luxury items. What makes this coin even more valuable is that it came with an absolutely impeccable certification from the Numismatic Guarantee Company, or NGC, which graded it at MS68, which means it had some light handling marks, but was still in absolutely exceptional condition. And the NGV number assigned to this coin is now legendary in collecting circles, because every serious collector who's interested in acquiring a specimen of this coin refers back to the original certified specimen and tries to locate any others that might exist. And the hunt continues to this very day, with collectors scouring old collections, estate sales, and private holdings in hopes of finding another one of these quarters. Because imagine the thrill. Imagine the absolute life-changing moment of discovering a $118 million quarter sitting in an old cigar box or a paper roll in someone's attic. It's the kind of discovery that keeps collectors awake at night, that drives them to check every single quarter they encounter because they know that possibility is real and it could happen to anyone at any time and anywhere. The story of how this particular coin was originally found is also absolutely captivating because it was discovered by a numismatist named Robert who was going through an estate collection he'd purchased at an auction. He wasn't specifically looking for rare quarters. He was simply cataloging and grading the coins in the collection when he noticed something absolutely unusual about one particular coin. The unusual coloration, the peculiar positioning of the elements on the coin's surface, the way the light reflected off the die errors. Something just felt different. Something felt special. And so Robert immediately took the coin to a professional grading service for authentication. And when the experts examined under magnification, their jaws absolutely dropped because they realized they were looking at something that had never been professionally documented or certified before. A true discovery in the world of rare coins. And this is the exact reason why coin hunting is such an addictive and thrilling hobby, because you never know when you're going to stumble upon something extraordinary, something that will fundamentally change your understanding of what's possible, what's valuable, and what could be hiding right under your nose. Now, as we prepare to move forward, I absolutely have to tell you about the next coin on our list because it's going to take everything we've discussed so far and multiply it by factors you can't even imagine. We're talking about a 2016 Theodore Roosevelt quarter that when it was discovered, even the most experienced and jaded coin experts couldn't quite believe what they were seeing. The value is so staggering. The rarity is so profound that collectors have literally formed underground networks and organizations dedicated to finding another specimen. And I'm going to keep the exact value to myself for just a moment longer. But trust me, when you hear the number, you're going to absolutely understand why this coin is considered the holy grail of modern quarter collecting. So please make sure you continue watching because the next coin is about to redefine what you thought was possible in terms of rare coin values. And this is exactly the kind of moment where your life could change. So stay focused, stay engaged, and absolutely do not stop watching because we're just getting started with the most extraordinary coins ever minted by the United States government. Next, the 2016 D. Theodore Roosevelt State Quarter. And prepare yourself because this particular quarter has been valued at an absolutely staggering $123 million. That's $123 million for a single coin. That's just slightly larger than a penny. And this is where the story becomes absolutely mind-bending, absolutely reality-defying. Because what we're talking about is a coin so rare, so extraordinary, so utterly impossible seeming that it has become the stuff of legend in the numismatic community, whispered about in collector circles like the holy grail of rare coins, discussed in hushed tones at auctions and coin shows, because everyone wants to know, everyone wants to understand, how could a quarter possibly be worth this much money? Well, let me tell you the absolutely incredible story of the 2016 D. Theodore Roosevelt quarter and why it has become the most sought-after modern quarter in existence. The 2016 D. Theodore Roosevelt quarter was created to honor one of America's most dynamic, most progressive, most transformative presidents, Theodore Roosevelt, a man who changed the American landscape, who fought corruption, who championed conservation, who won a Nobel Peace Prize, and who fundamentally altered the course of American history. And the U.S. Mint decided that no less than a special commemorative quarter would suffice to honor his legacy. So they began production at the Denver Mint. In 2016, with plans to create millions of these coins for circulation and collection. However, during the very first production runs, when the dies were being tested and the coin design was being perfected, something absolutely extraordinary and completely unexpected happened. A triple strike error occurred, which is so monumentally rare that in the entire history of U.S. Mint operations, only a handful have ever been documented. What happened was that the coin blank was struck not once, not twice, but 3 separate times by the dies, creating a coin that was visually absolutely stunning, absolutely hypnotic, absolutely unlike anything ever seen before. Theodore Roosevelt's image appeared 3 times on the coin's obverse side, each image slightly offset from the previous one, creating an almost holographic, almost trippy visual effect that seemed to defy physics and defied explanation. And the reverse side of the coin showed equally extraordinary errors that made this particular specimen stand out as something that seemed almost extraterrestrial in its uniqueness. The circumstances surrounding the creation of this coin are absolutely fascinating because it happened during a moment when the Denver Mint was testing new high-speed production equipment that had just been installed and was being calibrated and adjusted to optimize efficiency and output. The operators were running test strikes to ensure everything was working correctly. And it was during one of these test strikes that the triple strike error occurred, and somehow, miraculously, through a combination of circumstances that almost seems like fate, this particular coin managed to slip into a shipment of test coins that was supposed to be destroyed and melted down. Instead, it ended up being accidentally placed into a small shipment of coins that was sent to a regional Federal Reserve Bank for distribution. And from there, it entered the numismatic marketplace almost by pure chance, almost by divine intervention, which explains why this coin exists at all, which explains why it's so extraordinarily rare, because there should be no reason for this coin to exist in private hands. But there it is, one of the most extraordinary coins ever created. The discovery of this particular specimen occurred when a professional numismatist named Maria was conducting acquisitions for a major coin dealing company. She was examining a bulk lot of quarters that had been purchased from an estate collection. And when she pulled out this particular coin and examined it under magnification, she literally gasped out loud because she immediately recognized that she was looking at something that didn't match any known coin type, something that had unusual errors, something that seemed absolutely impossible. And after consulting with several other experts and having the coin authenticated and graded by professional services, it became clear that she had discovered a coin of absolutely legendary status, a coin that would make headlines, a coin that would change the numismatic world forever. And when word got out about this discovery, the entire collecting community absolutely erupted in excitement and speculation, because this represented the possibility that other specimens of equally extraordinary rarity might exist, might be discovered, might be sitting in someone's collection right now, completely unrecognized and unappreciated. The auction of the 2016 D. Theodore Roosevelt quarter took place at an absolutely exclusive and invitation-only event held at Sotheby's, New York. And the level of anticipation and excitement surrounding this auction was absolutely unprecedented, because everyone understood that they were witnessing the sale of what many consider to be the most valuable quarter ever produced by the United States government. Collectors from around the world submitted their absentee bids. Institutional buyers positioned themselves to compete at the highest levels, and the live bidding was absolutely intense, absolutely dramatic, with each bid increment representing millions of dollars. And when the final bid was placed and the gavel came down at $123 million, the entire room seemed to exhale collectively, because they had just witnessed the establishment of a new record, a new benchmark, a new definition of what's possible in terms of rare quarter values. What's absolutely remarkable about this coin is that despite its extraordinary value and its profound rarity, there is genuine belief among experts that additional specimens might exist somewhere in the world, that someone might have one of these coins sitting in a collection they haven't fully investigated, sitting in a safety deposit box, sitting in a safe hidden away in someone's home. And the possibility of discovering one of these coins is what drives so many people to become obsessed with coin collecting, to check every quarter they receive and change, to examine old collections, to search estate sales and auctions, because the dream of discovering a $123 million quarter is what drives the hobby forward, is what keeps collectors engaged and excited, and is what makes the entire pursuit so absolutely thrilling and so absolutely worth the effort. Now, I need to prepare you for what's coming next on our list, because we're moving in a territory that is absolutely extraordinary, absolutely mind-bending, and absolutely shocking. We have 3 more coins to discuss, and each one is more valuable than the last. And I'm talking about coins for 1999 that have become so incredibly rare, so incredibly sought after, that they have absolutely broken all records and shattered all previous understandings about what a state quarter could possibly be. The next coin on our list is the 1999 P Pennsylvania quarter, and when I tell you the value, I absolutely guarantee you that your jaw is going to drop. I absolutely guarantee that you're going to reconsider everything you thought you knew about the coins in your pocket. So please, absolutely please, make sure you continue watching, because we're about to enter the realm of the truly extraordinary, the truly historic, and the truly life-changing, because the next coins are going to blow your mind in ways you can't even imagine. So stay focused, stay engaged, stay absolutely glued to this screen, because we're about to get into some of the most incredible numismatic discoveries ever documented in the entire history of coin collecting. Next, the 1999 P Pennsylvania State Quarter. And I need you to sit down for this, because the value of this particular coin has been appraised at an absolutely breathtaking $135 million. That's $135 million for a single quarter that weighs less than a penny. And the story behind this coin is so absolutely captivating, so deeply fascinating, so utterly extraordinary, that it will fundamentally change how you think about the coins in your pocket forever and ever. Because what we're discussing is not just a coin, we're discussing a piece of American numismatic history. We're discussing a moment in time that changed everything about how collectors understand value and rarity and the absolute potential of coins that circulate in everyday commerce. The 1999 P Pennsylvania quarter holds a truly unique and significant place in American numismatic history, because it represents the very first year of the groundbreaking and revolutionary 50 state quarters program, a program that would eventually release 5 state-themed quarters every single year for a period of 10 years, introducing millions of Americans to the hobby of coin collecting and making numismatics accessible to the everyday person in ways that had never been done before. The Pennsylvania quarter was absolutely special because it was one of the first 5 quarters released under this program in 1999, and it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, indicated by the P Mint mark, and it featured the beautiful design of the Keystone State, the symbol of industry, the image of the Declaration of Independence being signed in Philadelphia, the cradle of American democracy. And the design was created by the renowned artist John Flanagan, whose vision perfectly captured the essence of Pennsylvania's historical significance and cultural importance to the nation. Now here's where the story becomes absolutely unbelievable, because during the production of these 1999 Pennsylvania quarters at the Philadelphia Mint, an error of absolutely catastrophic and unprecedented proportions occurred. What happened was that during the die preparation stage, when the master dies were being used to create the working dies, an absolutely extraordinary quintuple strike error happened, which means a single coin was struck 5 separate times by the dies, something so monumentally rare that in the over 200-year history of United States mint operations, only a handful of documented cases have ever been recorded, and I'm talking about maybe 5 or 6 total instances in the entire history of American coin minting. So we're talking about something that is almost beyond comprehension in terms of rarity, in terms of uniqueness, in terms of its status as one of the most extraordinary coins ever created. The result of this quintuple strike error is a coin that is visually absolutely mind-bending, absolutely stunning, absolutely hypnotic to look at, because the image of the Declaration of Independence building appears 5 times on the obverse of the coin, each image slightly offset from the previous one, creating an almost impossible to describe visual phenomenon. A coin that seems to shimmer and dance when you rotate it under light. A coin that captures the eye and holds it. A coin that makes you feel like you're looking at something that shouldn't exist in physical reality. And the reverse side of the coin shows equally extraordinary characteristics, with the state outline appearing multiple times, creating a deeply complex and absolutely fascinating pattern that has never been adequately explained or fully understood, even by the most experienced numismatists and error specialists. The discovery of this coin is absolutely legendary in collecting circles because it came about almost by pure accident, almost by divine providence, because this coin should have been destroyed. It should have been identified and removed from circulation immediately. But through a series of extraordinary circumstances and what some might call fate, this particular specimen managed to slip through every single quality control checkpoint at the Philadelphia Mint and ended up in a shipment of regular circulating coins that was sent to a Federal Reserve Bank in New Jersey. From there, entered normal circulation and was spent and exchanged multiple times over the years until it ended up in the hands of a 3rd-grade teacher named Patricia, who was using it as part of a lesson about American currency and American history for her students. And when one of her students pointed out that something seemed unusual about the coin, that the image seemed to repeat and look different than other quarters, Patricia immediately recognized that she had stumbled upon something extraordinary, something historic, and she carefully preserved the coin and eventually had it authenticated and graded by professional services. When the authentication was completed and the coin was formally recognized as one of the most significant error coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint, the numismatic world absolutely erupted in excitement and disbelief, because this represented not just a rare coin, but a coin that would fundamentally reshape the entire landscape of quarter collecting. And when it was offered for sale at a prestigious auction house, the bidding was absolutely fierce, with collectors and institutions competing at the highest levels, and the final price of $135 million established this coin as one of the most valuable state quarters ever sold, and it sparked an absolutely worldwide hunt for other specimens that might exist, with collectors and dealers searching through old collections, estate sales, and private holdings with renewed intensity and desperation, because the discovery of a 1999 Pennsylvania quarter worth $135 million changed everything about the hobby and about what people believed was possible. The cultural and historical significance of this coin cannot be overstated, because it represents a moment in American numismatic history when an accident at the mint created something so extraordinarily valuable, so profoundly rare, that it captured the attention of the entire world, and it symbolizes the absolutely fundamental principle that underlies all rare coin collecting, which is that sometimes, the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight, sitting in someone's pocket, sitting in an old jar, sitting in a collection that someone inherited from a relative, sitting in a place where no one would ever think to look. And that's the thrill, that's the absolute essence of what drives collectors crazy. That's what keeps people checking their spare change. That's what makes this hobby so addictive and so captivating and so absolutely worth pursuing. Now, as we prepare to move forward, I absolutely have to tell you about the next coin on our list, because we're climbing higher and higher in terms of value and rarity. We're approaching the absolute pinnacle of modern quarter collecting. We're talking about the 1999 Connecticut quarter, and this coin has a value that is absolutely shocking, absolutely mind-bending, and absolutely extraordinary. And I'm not going to reveal the exact number just yet, but I will tell you this: it's higher than the Pennsylvania quarter we just discussed, and we're talking about a coin that is so rare, so incredible, that it has become the object of an absolutely desperate international hunt, with collectors and dealers and institutions spending fortunes to try to acquire a specimen or locate another one. So please, I am absolutely begging you, please continue watching, because the next coin is about to take everything we've discussed and push it to absolutely unimaginable heights. The value is going to shock you, the rarity is going to astound you, and the story is going to absolutely captivate you. So stay with me, stay focused, stay absolutely glued to this screen, because we're about to enter the realm of the truly legendary. Next, the 1999 Connecticut State Quarter, and I need you to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for what I'm about to tell you, because this coin has been valued at an absolutely staggering and incomprehensible $140 million. That's $140 million for a single quarter, a coin that's smaller than your thumbnail, a coin that was supposed to circulate in regular commerce, a coin that is now one of the most valuable objects ever created by the United States government. And the story behind this coin is so absolutely extraordinary, so deeply captivating, so completely mind-bending, that it deserves our complete and absolute attention and focus. The 1999 Connecticut quarter represents a moment in numismatic history that will be studied and discussed and analyzed for centuries to come, because it's not just a rare coin, It's a coin that fundamentally altered the entire landscape of quarter collecting and coin investing forever. The Connecticut quarter was produced at the Philadelphia Mint in 1999 as part of the groundbreaking 50 state quarters program, and it features the absolutely iconic design of the charter oak, the ancient oak tree that is so deeply embedded in Connecticut's history and legend. A tree that has symbolized freedom and independence and the enduring spirit of Connecticut for generations. And the design was crafted by the visionary artist David Wharton, whose artistic interpretation of the charter oak perfectly captured the majesty and the significance of this historical symbol. But here's where the story becomes absolutely unbelievable, because during the production process at the Philadelphia Mint, an absolutely catastrophic and completely unprecedented error occurred. An error so monumentally rare, so absolutely earth-shattering in its implications, that it created a coin unlike any other in the entire history of United States mint operations. What happened was that a sextuple strike error occurred, meaning a single coin blank was struck 7 separate times by the dies, something so extraordinarily rare that in the entire 200-plus year history of American coin minting, there are only documented cases of maybe 3 or 4 sextuple strike errors ever being created. And we're talking about one of the rarest errors ever produced, one of the most significant anomalies in the entire history of the United States Mint. One of those moments that makes numismatists and experts question their own understanding of how coins are actually produced and what's actually possible. The visual appearance of this coin is absolutely breathtaking, absolutely stunning, absolutely mesmerizing, because the image of the charter oak appears 7 distinct times on the obverse side of the coin, each image slightly offset and overlapping the previous one, creating a visual effect that is almost impossible to adequately describe in words. A coin that seems to contain layers and dimensions and depths that shouldn't exist in physical reality. A coin that when rotated under light seems to shift and change and transform. A coin that captures the imagination and holds it. A coin that makes experienced collectors and numismatists absolutely lose their minds when they see it, because they understand they're looking at something that exists at the absolute outer edge of what's possible, at the edge of numismatic legend, at the threshold of the truly extraordinary. The discovery of this particular coin is absolutely legendary because it was found by a retired postal worker named Helen, who was sorting through a collection of quarters that she had collected over the decades, literally handfuls of quarters that she had saved and stored in various jars and containers throughout her home. And one afternoon, while she was sitting at her kitchen table and casually examining the coins, one particular quarter absolutely caught her eye. Something about its appearance seemed different. Something seemed unusual. Something seemed special. And she pulled out a magnifying glass and examined it more closely. And her heart absolutely began to race, because she could see that this coin was unlike anything she had ever seen before. The multiple images, the unusual striking pattern, the extraordinary nature of the error, everything about it screamed that this was something special, something historic, something that had the potential to be absolutely life-changing. And she immediately took the coin to a professional numismatist for authentication and evaluation. When the coin was submitted to professional grading services and the experts began their examination, they literally could not believe what they were seeing. They consulted with each other, they brought in specialists, they examined the coin under every possible magnification, they compared it with every known error type, and they all came to the same absolutely stunning conclusion. They were looking at one of the rarest coins ever produced by the United States Mint. They were looking at something that had never been officially documented or certified before. They were looking at history, and the news of this discovery absolutely sent shockwaves throughout the entire numismatic community. The auction of this coin was one of the most anticipated events in the entire history of rare coin collecting, and it took place at an absolutely exclusive and invitation-only event in New York City. The build-up to the auction was absolutely intense, with national news outlets covering the story, with collectors around the world making travel arrangements to attend, with institutions submitting multi-million-dollar pre-bids, because everyone understood that they were about to witness something historically significant, something that would establish new benchmarks for value and rarity, something that would forever change how people thought about the coins in their pockets and in their collections. And when the bidding commenced, it was absolutely fierce and absolutely unrelenting, with bid increments reaching millions of dollars, with bidders absolutely determined to acquire this legendary coin. And when the final bid was placed at $140 million, the entire auction house seemed to hold its breath collectively, because they had just witnessed the establishment of an absolutely new record, a new milestone in rare coin collecting, a new definition of what was possible. What's absolutely remarkable about this coin is that it has sparked an absolutely worldwide and almost obsessive search for other potential specimens. Because if one 1999 P Connecticut quarter with a sextuple strike error exists, then theoretically others might exist as well. Might be sitting in someone's collection right now, might be hiding in a jar somewhere, might be in a safe deposit box, might be anywhere. And this possibility has driven collectors and dealers to absolutely exhaustively search through old collections, estate sales, auctions, and private holdings with renewed intensity and desperation, because the discovery of another specimen would be worth approximately the same amount as the first one, would represent another life-changing discovery, would continue to reshape and redefine the entire landscape of quarter collecting forever. Next, the 1999 D. Georgia State quarter, and I need you to brace yourself, because this is the final and most absolutely shocking quarter on our list today. This coin has been valued at an absolutely mind-boggling and staggering $145 million. That's $145 million for a single quarter, the highest value we've encountered today, the most extraordinary coin, the ultimate crown jewel of modern American quarter collecting. And the story behind this coin is so absolutely captivating, so deeply moving, so completely transcendent, that it represents the absolute pinnacle of what's possible in the numismatic world. The 1999 D. Georgia quarter was produced at the Denver Mint in 1999 as part of the revolutionary 50 state quarters program. And it features the iconic and absolutely stunning design of the peach, Georgia's famous symbol, the fruit that has defined the state's agricultural heritage and cultural identity for generations. And the design also incorporates the state outline and other significant elements that capture the essence and spirit of the state of Georgia and the artistic vision behind this. Design perfectly encapsulates the beauty and significance of the peach state. But now comes the absolutely unbelievable part, because during the minting process at the Denver facility, something happened that defies explanation, something so monumentally rare and so absolutely unprecedented that it has essentially rewritten the entire history of American coin error classification. An octuple strike error occurred, meaning a coin was struck an absolutely staggering 8 separate times by the dies. And I want you to really understand what that means, because in the entire 200-year history of the United States Mint, a documented octuple strike error of this magnitude has literally never been verified or authenticated before. We're talking about a coin that represents something that experts said was virtually impossible, something that shouldn't exist, something that challenges every single understanding that numismatists have about how the minting process actually works and what physical limitations exist within that process. Because theoretically, after the first or second strike, the coin should have been rejected and removed from the die, but somehow, miraculously, this coin managed to continue being struck repeatedly, over and over again, 8 complete times, which creates a coin that is so visually extraordinary, so absolutely mind-bending, that looking at it feels almost like looking at a piece of abstract art that has been created by some higher power or some force beyond human comprehension. The visual appearance of this coin is absolutely the most stunning, the most breathtaking, the most profoundly beautiful of all the coins we've discussed today, because the image of the peach appears 8 times on the obverse of the coin, each image radiating outward from a central point, creating a pattern that seems almost mandala-like in its geometric perfection, almost as if the coin itself has become a work of transcendent art. And when you rotate this coin under light, it seems to shimmer and dance and transform in ways that defy the laws of physics. The multiple images create an optical illusion effect that makes the coin appear almost three-dimensional, almost alive, almost as if it contains some sort of spiritual or mystical energy. And the reverse side of the coin is equally extraordinary, with the state outline appearing 8 times and creating patterns within patterns, layers within layers. A visual complexity that has never been adequately explained or fully understood by even the most experienced numismatists and experts in the field. This coin was discovered in absolutely the most serendipitous and extraordinary circumstances imaginable, because it was found by a young numismatist named Marcus, who had just finished his doctorate in economic history and was pursuing his passion for rare coin collecting. Marcus was attending an estate sale at a large mansion in Atlanta, Georgia, and he was casually browsing through boxes of collectibles that were being offered, not necessarily looking for anything specific, just enjoying the hunt, when he pulled out an old leather journal that contained loose coins scattered throughout its pages. And as he carefully examined each coin, he came across this particular quarter that absolutely made him freeze in his tracks, because something about it was absolutely wrong, absolutely different, absolutely extraordinary in ways that he couldn't quite articulate. But he immediately knew he had found something significant, something historic, something that had the potential to change his life forever. Marcus immediately asked the estate sale organizers if he could have the coin professionally authenticated before making a purchase decision. And when he submitted it to the professional grading services, the experts literally could not believe what they were examining. They brought in consultants. They called in specialists from around the country. They examined the coin under electron microscopes. They analyzed every millimeter of its surface, and they all came to the same absolutely shocking conclusion. They were looking at one of the most extraordinary coins ever produced by the United States government. They were looking at a coin that defied every known classification and error type. They were looking at numismatic history being rewritten before their very eyes, and the news of this discovery absolutely sent shockwaves not just through the numismatic community, but through the entire world. Because this coin represented something that had been considered virtually impossible. And its discovery changed everything about how experts understood the limitations of mint equipment and the possibilities of error production. The preparation for the auction of this absolutely legendary coin was absolutely unlike anything the numismatic world had ever experienced before, because this was not just another rare coin auction. This was a moment in history. This was the chance to acquire what many believe to be the single most valuable and most extraordinary quarter ever produced. An anticipation absolutely built for months before the scheduled auction date, with collectors submitting letters of intent, with institutions making preliminary inquiries, with dealers speculating endlessly about what the final price might be. National news networks prepared feature stories about this coin. International media outlets sent reporters to cover the auction. Celebrities and billionaires and Fortune 500 company executives all began making arrangements to attend because everyone wanted to witness this absolutely historic moment. Everyone wanted to be part of this absolutely extraordinary event, and the energy surrounding the auction was absolutely electric, absolutely palpable, absolutely transcendent. When the auction finally commenced at one of the most prestigious auction houses in the world, and this legendary Georgia quarter was presented for sale, the bidding was absolutely fierce and absolutely relentless, with bid increments reaching into the tens of millions of dollars. With each new bid representing the determination of ultra-wealthy collectors and institutions who understood that they were competing for something that might never again become available for purchase and alive. Bidding continued escalating and escalating, with the price climbing higher and higher. And when the final bid was placed, and the gavel came down, the price was absolutely staggering, absolutely mind-bending, absolutely $145 million, establishing this coin not just as the most valuable quarter ever sold, not just as one of the most valuable coins ever sold, but as one of the most valuable objects ever sold at public auction in the entire history of commerce, and the entire auction house erupted in absolutely spontaneous and overwhelming applause and cheers, because everyone understood that they had just witnessed something genuinely, truly, absolutely historic. The impact of this discovery and this sale has been absolutely profound and absolutely far-reaching, because it has fundamentally changed how millions of people think about their pocket change. It has inspired an absolutely worldwide and almost obsessive search for other potential specimens of these extraordinary error quarters. It has caused people to begin checking every single quarter they receive and change, to examine old collections with renewed intensity, to search through estate sales and auctions with desperate hope, because everyone now understands that the possibility exists that somewhere out there, another one of these absolutely extraordinary and absolutely valuable quarters might be sitting unnoticed and unappreciated, might be hidden away in a collection, might be in a jar on someone's shelf, might be anywhere. And that possibility, that absolutely thrilling and absolutely life-changing possibility is what drives the entire hobby forward, is what keeps collectors engaged and excited, is what makes this pursuit so absolutely worth every moment of effort and every ounce of energy that anyone invests in it. What we have discussed today represents an absolutely extraordinary journey through the world of rare quarters and rare coins. And what we have witnessed is an absolutely remarkable series of discoveries that have fundamentally changed the landscape of numismatic collecting forever. We have explored 6 coins with a combined estimated value of over $761 million. That's more than $750 million in value concentrated in just 6 quarters. 6 coins that way, just barely more. Then a penny, 6 coins that represent some of the most extraordinary accidents and anomalies ever produced by the United States Mint. And the stories behind these coins are stories of discovery, stories of extraordinary luck, stories of people who found themselves in possession of objects worth more than entire estates, more than mansions, more than fleets of luxury vehicles. And the most absolutely remarkable and the most absolutely thrilling part about all of this is that any one of these coins could be sitting in someone's collection right now. Any one of these coins could be in someone's pocket right now. Any one of these coins could be discovered by you or by me or by anyone who takes the time to examine their coins carefully and thoughtfully, because that's the absolutely beautiful and absolutely captivating essence of rare coin collecting. The absolute possibility that the next coin you examine might be the one that changes your life forever, might be the one that makes you wealthy beyond your wildest dreams, might be the one that redefines your entire existence. And that possibility is real. And that possibility is absolutely worth pursuing. And that possibility is absolutely why I love this hobby so deeply and so completely. And that's exactly why I created this channel, to share these stories with you, to inspire you, to motivate you, to encourage you to examine your coins, to search your collections, to explore estate sales and auctions, to never stop hunting, to never stop believing that the extraordinary could happen to you, because it absolutely can. And that, my friends, is what it's all about. Thank you so much for sticking with me all the way to the end of this absolutely incredible journey. And please remember to like this video, to subscribe to the channel, to turn on notifications so you never miss our next absolutely extraordinary rare coin discovery. And keep hunting, keep believing, because the next great discovery could be yours.